week, Crime Stoppers in the El Paso Police Department is asking for help from the community to identify a suspect who dragged a victim in his 60s as he stole his truck. This took place on Tuesday, April 29th at 9 a.m. in the 8200 block of Echo. The victim was taking groceries into his home when the suspect ran and jumped into the driver's seat of the truck. The suspect was confronted by the victim, and the suspect placed the truck in gear. As a result, the victim was dragged several feet. The stolen vehicle is a white 2005 GMC Yukon with Texas Disabled Veteran plates 1SFFT. The suspect is a Hispanic male in his 40s, bald, has a medium to large build, and may possibly have a short beard. He wore a black sweater and blue jeans. Anyone with any information on the identity of this carjacker should call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at 566-8477. That's 566-TIPS. Crime of the Week, Crime Stoppers in the El Paso Police Department is looking for the community's help in finding a driver involved in the death of a 52-year-old man in El Paso's Mission Valley. On Friday, March 21st at 8:40 p.m., 52-year-old Jesus Fernando Perez was crossing the 7300 block of North Loop near the entrance to El Paso Community College. Perez was crossing from the north curb to the south curb with his wife when he was struck. The driver fled the scene, and Perez was taken to the hospital where he died. The vehicle that fled is described as a dark-colored small four-door car. The vehicle will have damage to the right front side. Anyone with any information on the driver involved in the death of Jesus Fernando Perez should call Crime Stoppers at 566-8477. That's 566-TIPS.
Shalom. First, I start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakabash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles, great millstone. Likewise, brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fantasy, feeding the sheep, and to you, brothers and sisters, tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled Spirits of Vengeance. And you saw in the opening clips, okay, you saw the old man, he had his goods stolen in broad daylight, okay. You also saw the woman that was killed, and the driver did not even stop to render aid to her. And all of this is taking place because when you go into the book of Matthew 24:12, it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, so we're living in a place, Great Babylon, America, which is controlled by wicked people, okay, who do wicked things. And because you have jakes in this society following the ways of their oppressor, they themselves have right now have those evil, wicked spirit that's on them. Okay, we go into the book of Hebrews 10 and verse 30 reads, for we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me, I will recompense, said the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Now, we're going to go into the main clip here, okay? And you're going to see why it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, okay? Yahweh Ba'ashem Shine. Because when the Lord does things, okay, he can eliminate several wicked people all at once. The one that's the spirit for vengeance and the intended target. Now let's take a look at this news clip.
To an update now, 2 men have been arrested after a confrontation over loud music at a neighborhood party escalated, leaving 1 person dead and 2 others injured this past weekend in northeast El Paso. According to El Paso police, 24-year-old Ransford Julian Myers is facing murder and aggravated assault charges. 56-year-old Michael Gary Myers is facing aggravated assault charges as well. As we reported, it happened early Sunday morning, just after 1 a.m. along Dalton Avenue. Police say during a party at a home with a live band, the 2 suspects entered the property to confront the homeowners about the loud noise. During the altercation, 35-year-old Hugo Benitez and 2 others were stabbed. Benitez was taken to a hospital where he later died.
And you saw in that news clip, okay, you have this young Jake, 24 years old, okay, now is facing life sentence, for murder, okay. Now, and then his father, okay, or his the older gentleman right there, okay, is facing aggravated assault. Now, you had a party that's going on, and if you know anything about El Paso, they bring a lot of these bands out there, and they'll play loud music until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, one thing they like to do out here is partying in that particular part of town especially, but it's pretty much all around, okay? And like we always say, nothing good's happen, after a certain time of the night. And clearly there was some dispute with the noise that was being made. It could be, you know, just the lack of sleep. Obviously, this was not something that happened just only a one-time incident for these men to react the way they did, okay? Because, you know, they probably they weren't invited probably to begin with, and two, they just simply did not like the sound, you know, of the mirth that was coming from next door, okay? And this is the mindset of our people. You have the wicked rulers of Great Babylon, America, you know, making antagonistic moves, okay? You know, these Edomites are plotting, you know, the agents are all about collecting jakes, and yet still our people, okay, are partying, okay? This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 4, and it reads, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. Now, why is the heart of fools in the house of mirth? Okay, it goes down to this. Proverbs 1 and 7. It reads, the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay, there are brothers out here. I'm one of them, and I know there's some other ones that are on the other side of the town. Okay, and Texas in general have a lot of brothers out on the highway and the byway, and we put out lessons on the unicorn concerning, okay, the tribulation that's going to fall on our people, known as Jacob's trouble. Okay, now out here you have a majority of so-called Hispanic and Latinos. Okay, you know, and surprisingly 70% of them consider themselves to be white. Okay, and henceforth you see a lot of the images of, you know, Caesar Borgia. You know, they believe he's their Messiah, he's their savior. And so we know anything that's connected to Christianity is giving our people a false sense of security. Okay, you can do as you please, eat what you want, you know, be as wicked as you want, and as long as at the last moment before you die, if you have that time, you just say, forgive me, Jesus, and you go to heaven, okay, or the land of the milk and honey, or whatever cases like that. And so our people continue to allow themselves to be fooled into believing that somehow, you know, the death angels will pass over them. Yet still, when you look around, what does Trump do? Trump is bringing over these Edomites from South Africa, okay, while he's busy, you know, trying to reach his goal of getting what he said 10 million so-called illegal immigrants, mainly from the Northern Kingdom tribes. Okay, and you have demonstration that's going on right now where people are questioning, okay, the legality of it, of this deportation, but also how are these people that they're collecting up faring, okay, in these facilities that they're being held. But yet still our people, they're not really taking anything serious. They're not taking the warning serious. And they're not even, never mind us, obviously they might look and say, well, y'all are just a bunch of cult members and fearmongers like that. But you have these people that are coming on these podcasts and the news that are talking about things that is sitting deep in their mind. You know, they're looking, going, we have a government that's a rogue government right now, where they're turning on the citizen of Great Babylon, America. Let's go to 1 Peter 5 and 8, and it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour. Can you be sober and vigilant when you are constantly partying? When you are constantly partying, and brothers, we speak about it. You know, we're not partying, okay? We're, in the house of mourning. You know, you could tell from the lessons the way brothers are speaking, you know, that, you know, the saints are being worn out. Okay, the wickedness is starting to really sink into you. The unfairness, the hypocrisy of Esau. Okay, it's wearing the saints down. And here you have these men. Okay, these people, you know, they're so free spirited that they can keep a party. Okay, and the end result is what? This should have been a warning to them. Okay, because look what happened to these men. They're now going to face prison term. You have others that were injured, and one actually went into the spirit world. Okay, but yes, so this is not going to change these Jakes, okay, and maybe all of them aren't Jakes, but it's not going to change their ways, or they're not going to fail. Okay, they don't see that as a warning. Okay, they don't see that Esau is going to come on them too. Okay, and this is how the Lord does his vengeance. Okay, let's go into Ecclesiasticus 39 and verse 25 says, "For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners." Let me read that again. For the good are good things created. For the good people, good things are created from the beginning. So evil things for the sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grapes, and oil and clothing. So simple things. This is all you need. You know, you don't need all those flashiness. All these things are good to the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil. So we always pray, you know, during a time of trouble, that the Lord is going to keep us from the danger. Okay, which, okay, these are the spirits that he created for vengeance. And Esau is a spirit that's created for vengeance on us. Esau is the one that's the sword of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, on the left. Okay, but he has also other created things that he's going to use to punish his people. Okay, so there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In a time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. This was basically a judgment here, that person that died, you know, this was their judgment. And then this is also the judgment of these two characters here, okay, who are now going to face, you know, long-term prison sentences, okay, or maybe even deportation into someplace even worse, okay, because so right now they are going to be exactly what Trump, you know, is talking about, these criminals, okay. It says fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, which we see a whole lot of that all over the place. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Those wild beasts is something else. That's something that, you know, people are not really considering, okay? And we've gone into lesson about that because you have this man that's splicing genes and, you know, all kind of mutated creatures that are probably sitting in some type of basement or laboratory that they're going to somehow release out there. And these are going to be creatures that are just going to do some things to people, you know, that normal creatures will not be doing, and they're going to be very difficult to kill on top of that too, because people are going to see them and go, what the hell is that? They should rejoice in this commandment, and they should be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time has come, they shall not transgress his word. So the Lord has created, when the Lord can take you and use you to destroy somebody else or put them in the spirit world, and in turn have the centuries come and put you in the spirit world, okay? And this is how this is playing out, okay? So here you have, you know, something that could have been maybe settled, you know, if people weren't in such a wicked spirit, you know, cold and heartless, and act maturely, but instead it turned into this, and this is going to get worse and worse and worse. Imagine, you know, when you have shortages of food, you know, the sewing places go unsewn and the storehouses turn empty. Imagine how this is going to work out, because right now what I'm seeing here, this looks like spick on spick crime, so to speak, like I always say, black on black crime, okay? So you can see here, wicked is wicked, no matter what tribe it is, okay? But we have the wicked, which is Esau the Edomite, so-called white man, who's evil, okay? And we got to watch out for those things, not be in the house of mirth. So Lord willing, the left side, Father, of course, by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.